On May 6, 2021, Kentaro Miura would pass away, leaving a work of art spanning 364 chapters unfinished. Berserk is split into major arcs, and the last Miura worked on would be known as Fantasia. This arc depicts Guts finally on the home stretch of his horrific journey, now joined by many companions with the hope to heal his love, Kaska, and that hope lies in a single island, Elfhelm, home of the elves. It's one of the deepest, most awing parts of this series yet, a part that makes it clear Berserk was in or heading towards its finale. And today I would like to tell you all about this arc, this being the next entry in the video series all about every Berserk arc. And to be honest, we're nearing the end. Fantasia contains some of Miura's best art yet, insane revelations, hundreds of chapters in the making, and finally, Kaska is healed, giving us a series of some of the most heartbreaking scenes in the entire manga. Seriously, you will cry. This is my deep dive into Fantasia. It's long, so get a snack, get cozy, whatever you want to do, and just enjoy the video. It's a long one, and as always, I tried my best. Starting off with a big bang, the pirate who ultimately did nothing in the last arc is back. His goal? Revenge. Can't let nobody make a fool of you. And this is when his crewmate begins speaking of that strange wind. The wind that seemed to change the world, bringing the otherworldly to them all. Regardless, the pirate is sure, well, otherworldly can't exist. Why would they? Oh boy, little does he know. Yup, they're right behind him. Though with this silly introduction out the way, we finally catch up to everyone, who are also encountering the otherworldly. A bird is eaten by this mythical sea creature. Our group sails on Roderick's ship where they're drawing on Shirka as she uses magic. While everything just seems like a silly scene, in reality Shirka was scouting, and she's discovered something very concerning. There's a pirate ship coming to them. Not just any ship though. Like everything else, it's something not human. Like the pirates just did, they mention the wind. Since it happened, things like this are just part of everyday life. The otherworldly are everywhere. This wind they speak of is Griffith merging the physical and astral plane through Ganishka. By bringing down this god of an enemy, the barrier between these two planes of existence basically shattered. The result was, well, otherworldly are everywhere. They all exist in one reality now. There's no barrier keeping them from each other, so humans are non-stop dealing with them. The crew face the ship coming their way, but as it gets close, they notice something is off. It's beyond destroyed, it's half submerged, and somehow it's moving like a fish. Roderick then nervously recalls a legend. This must be a ghost ship, and he's gonna need help in this battle. Probably from someone in the cabin too. A familiar man with a metal arm. Berserk, who could this man be? The ship approaches and sea battle begins, Shirka now noticing an even weirder energy. It's that pirate from before, who has now been turned into some otherworldly thing himself. Ew. Regardless, we finally have a name, Bonebeard. Bonebeard wants to be Roderick for before, plus, he notices everyone is the group who foiled his plans on land. So yeah, revenge time. He's boring, but I guess he's not human now, so he makes a bit more sense for Berserk. He's gonna beat them or something. But surprisingly, despite being so weak before, the mass he is now a part of isn't, taking the men into its claws as it shreds them, sending everyone on the boat into panic as Bonebeard laughs about it all. Yet they forgot about one man. And he's starving, not only for food, but blood. Our main man Guts brings down his heavy sword as he cuts away the beast. He stretches and he's only half awake. Still, it's time to frenzy, and I gotta love it. Gotta have the classic wide panel of carnage followed by everyone's reaction of just how crazy Guts and his sword are. It's peak Berserk. Bonebeard then begins to yell out that the main dish is starting now. The creature's main body and face have revealed itself, but Guts just shoots a cannon into its jaw before slicing the beast clean through. It falls into the water as Guts stands with no worry. It's just another day for him. With that, Roderick can finish his part. Ghost ship? Well, not really without the monster. They're just normal pirate. and so the cannons blow them away and Bonebeard is again left with nothing. Victory is theirs. Everyone celebrates Guts and Roderick yet again, the former saying he's in Guts' debt. Guts tells him they're even for the ride. And speaking of the ride, the ship needs some repairs. They should dock, meaning it's time for a new island adventure. So this arc starts weird, honestly. Bonebeard is quite possibly the least interesting villainous force we've ever had in this series that also tried to seem like he was important. And the worst part is, he keeps coming back somehow, and spoiler, he's going to do it again. The point of him is to show how this world merge is affecting our cast. As well, last arc we were almost meant to believe that the ocean was safe, that it was the final trek. This has to show us that no, it's not over yet, there's still big foes out there. Bonebeard reappearing over and over shows that, well, they're going to keep reappearing. Otherworldly are going to keep reappearing, and we're going to have to fight them time and time again. I just can't understand why such a boring and frankly annoying villain was chosen though. So yeah, that's Bonebeard. Regardless, New Island indeed means a more enjoyable adventure, already starting off with this sense of mysteriousness as a blue-haired woman watches them from the rocks. Unbeknownst to this, Ishidro jumps off the boat first. They haven't been on land in a bit, so he runs off. Sherika stepping foot on the island senses something weird, and Guts' brand has been haywire since the wind. He describes it as a wound that won't close. It's so sensitive that it's numb, which says a lot. The world is so flooded with otherworldly that his sensor for them is overwhelmed to the max. Sherika is also on high guard, she's concerned. Though her saying this island has an even weirder energy tells us they need to be careful. Still, they can't set sail till tomorrow. Gotta bear it for at least a night. Oh boy, it sure would be horrible if tonight was the night something horrible happened on this island. We cut to Ishidro being a silly kid who has no idea for danger. He runs as high as he can get, viewing a strange dark cave that draws him in. He approaches it when he hears a voice. Don't do that. It's the woman from before. She states the cave is bad news. Don't go near. The girl then gracefully hops through the rocky area, stunned at the sight of Puck, who has been sitting on Ishidro's head. The girl then puts together that they're from elsewhere as she explains it's a taboo to enter this cave. It houses an old legend, one saying this is where the sea god lives. In the face of this blacked out cave, Ishidro can't believe it. A sea god? The girl explains it as a sinister, dreadful god. It sinks ships and eats people, and of course, this makes Ishidro more curious, where he then gets blasted by a wave. Yeah, I'ma say this is fate keeping him from death, cause that cave is probably death. But hey, whatever, the girl decides she'll take Ishidro to her home to patch up the silly wounds he's just earned himself. And all I have to say is, ooh, a sea god? Ancient gods? I like the idea, but yeah, what a random encounter. It's cool though, we're actually heading into something interesting. I'm happy we're leaving that pirate behind. At least I hope we're leaving him behind. The rest of our group have made their way to the island's village. It's a bit ominous, but it's also just a quiet, very small fishing village. Still, Sherika is very much on edge. There's a weird energy across the whole village. Kaska then finds something, this weird statue thing. Sherika calling it a very old statue of an ancient god. As the holy sea spread throughout the world, gods like this were forgotten. But this island, it being so isolated, must have held on. Sherika then announces she's gonna go check the island out on her own, just in case she's a bit worried, and she tells the others not to worry about her. She's much safer here than in the city, as she can comfortably hear the voices of the spirits. Back with Ishidro and the girl, he warms up next to the fire before the girl looks to his injuries. She takes care of him perfectly before she introduces herself. She's Isma, and she wants to know all about Ishidro's travels to the outside world. And of course, Ishidro tells her. She loves hearing his stories. He explains his wild moments with his fire salamander dagger, and of course, he's lost that dagger. But Isma and Ishidro, a random but very cute bond that is very enjoyable to see, and I dare say it finally means some growth for Ishidro. Well, not terribly much, but I guess he kinda does do stuff in this arc. Ishidro is meant to be the pureness of our cast, that in a dark horrible world someone can still be silly and bright. This becomes even more important now. The Berserk world is getting worse, so him being able to have silly adventures in moments like this, while many might not love them, it reminds us that light still exists. I also like to think of him being a mini Guts that got the chance to actually be a child. At this age, Guts wasn't even close to having dumb adventures. His life was already one of horror. But hey, Ishidro lost his dagger, and Shirka finds it as she checks out the dark cave Ishidro found earlier, the den of the sea god. Shirka is sure this is where the ominous energy comes from. The find of the dagger makes this all the more uncomfortable, especially as she's attacked by sea tendrils. They're from the ghost ships just like before. She fends them off, and using telepathy, she finds her way to and ends up at Izuma's house. It's hilarious, but Shirka is mad. This is a rare item that Ishidro has lost. That on top of the sea attack, Ishidro is in hot water. But something then catches her eye. Izuma appears to Shirka as some sort of otherworldly creature. Her energy isn't one of a human. She might be bad news. Despite this, Izuma flips everything on her head. She's very kind, and she's a perfectly normal girl, it would seem. And of course, confused, just like us, Shirka wants to know more about her. She explains that she's just a fisherwoman on a nothing special island. It's isolated and most of their food comes from damaged ships and fishing. All they have is just one little village. Though Izuma then presents something interesting. She's the outcast. A fact she finds oddly funny. Apparently the villagers are scared of her because she's a marrow. But she was kidding. Haha, she just wanted to be silly, considering there's a witch and an elf before her. Yeah, saying that after Shirka already saw through her doesn't make that seem like a lie. Considering her childishness, she doesn't seem to mean any harm. She doesn't actually seem to think she's a marrow. She then clarifies this joke. Her father was with a marrow. And just to clarify for you guys, a marrow is basically a mermaid. I'm gonna say marrow because that's what they say, but mermaid, and if you don't know what a mermaid is, well, human with tail, fish tail. Her father was with the marrow, yet she's human. She could be in water all day and still have legs. She has no memories of her mother, and her dad never spoke of her. But through teasing, she learned this strange truth. When her father passed, he stated someday her mother would come for her. He told her that the house she lives in is covered in marrow charms. They protect from evil. Despite this, she's never even seen a marrow. So Izuma is introduced in a childish way, but it would seem there's actually a sad truth to her. She's considered an outcast on this island with literally no one but them, because she's this creature that she's actually not. While she does make the joke and appears to Shirka as some sort of astral creature, she's clearly not this creature, and we're not meant to believe she is this creature in this moment. She's just an ordinary girl who got excited seeing magic stuff, as most people in this world who didn't hate it probably would. Though her comments about swimming all day, being in the water, being a fisherwoman, probably highlight that she does wish she was a marrow. She's likely lonely, as everyone else on this island hates her because pretty much nothing. At least if she was a marrow, she'd have other magical creatures to be around. This is all to offer up a very good reason why she was happy to see Puck, Ishidro, and Shirka. She's a lonely girl who just wants some friends. Though this moment also tells us another thing about this island we've found. There's a lot of otherworldly around. There's the pirates, there's this odd energy, we're getting mentions of a sea god, and then marrows. Something magical is going to happen here, and I dare say it's not very good. And this is without a doubt something Shirka has begun to see and understand. If marrows are spirits of the sea, very kind ones, why did the people here detest them? This is explained to be because of the sea god. The god was a tyrant and attacked and ate everything. Marrows warred against it, the deadly long war ending with the sea god being confined to this island. Yet the being is so powerful, when a full moon approaches, it stretches from the cave, attacking those who pass nearby. And today is a full moon. Ishidro and Shirka put it together. What's already ominous is going to get worse. Izuma then makes it worse. The island has been weird recently, the villagers are acting different, and the cave? Sounds are coming from it. She also hears strange voices in the sea, all happening right before she met them. The world has gone bizarre since that big gust of wind. And yup, there's our answer. What was myth is coming to life. The barrier's broken, and so the sea god is a real thing to normal people now. That's why the island is all weird and the villagers are acting strange. And the voices in the sea, who knows, it very well could actually be Mero's. Yet it's then Shirka senses a very ominous energy. She can tell something big has begun. Back to the crew, they eat dinner at a local tavern. Still, everything is a bit weird, especially the people. They seem devoid of life, and they eat the fish raw as if it was just common. Everyone finishes their meal and Roderick steps out early to go work on the ship, but outside the entire village stands. The people no longer resembling people, just husks. One of them inside the tavern then speaks. They're welcoming them. Tonight is a full moon, the special one, as the sea god is coming back. Guts instantly kills the husk, it transforming into those otherworldly tendrils from before. Guts cuts it down with one fell swoop. They put together everyone must be these things, and so Guts steps outside to face them. What a warm welcome. Guts cleaves away at the tendrils and Serpico shreds them with his wind, while Farnese and Roderick take to protecting everyone else. It's a really weird situation, but nothing new for them. Guts springs into action. Even when bigger tendrils appear, it's still nothing new to him, cutting open their faces and showering the ground in their blood. Yet things get worse when the dozen multiplies. They can't even see past them anymore. And facing it, Guts' Beast of Darkness makes its first appearance of the arc. Can it kill them all without its power? He ignores it and dives in, cutting away and using his cannon to level the foes one by one. As he reloads, Farnese's annoying brother wonders why he just won't use the Berserker armor, but Farnese is insistent he can't do it without Shirka, and she's not here right now. In this moment, it would seem everything is saying he'll need its power, a fact that becomes clear as the pirate ship from before rams into the land, it being carried over the rocks by the sea tendrils. Of course, stupid Bonebeard is at the head of this attack, revealing the nature of what's happened. People are eaten and turned into these tentacles. They'll be devoured and turned into a creature of the sea, like them. This night is special too. It's a full moon. It's a rebirth of the sea god they all seem to serve. And of course, every tentacle chants with this statement. It's scary. But remember, a full moon indicates a peak in the astral energy for the world of Berserk. The sea god needing a full moon to come back makes perfect sense, especially considering that barrier just got broken. All to say, we should probably be pretty scared for whatever's about to happen. Guts can sense it. They need to do some real damage. They're in real danger here. Him looking at Kaska. The need to protect her is at a high. And so, he lets the armor consume him, transforming Guts into a Berserker. In a split second, it strengthens his body and he jumps through the tendrils, landing atop the pirate ship before he yells and splits through it, busting it up as fast as he possibly can. Any tendril that attacks, he covers the sky with its blood. He has become the Beast of Darkness once more. And far off, Shirka panics knowing Guts has used his power. Things truly are getting bad. I just have to say real quick, the art here is so good. Miura really locks in the hardest when it comes to the armor scenes. And this is right after not even a volume ago he was drawing 10 spreads a chapter. It's truly awing work. I feel like I need to point it out once a video. But back to Shirka's group. Izma is surprised to see the otherworldly attacking the village. Sure, they may hate her, but she doesn't want them dead. Izma is just a good person put into this horrible situation. She's already pretty likable, and in this moment, it's hard not to feel bad for this girl. The tentacle creatures approach them and Ishidro dashes in with his fireblade as Shirka uses magic. The full moon is again noted. Magic gets crazy at this time. Shirka then reveals that she senses no humans left in the village. Izma was only spared because of those magic charms on her house. The girl is saddened by this. Again, there was hatred, but them being gone is too much. What really bothers her is the fact that she's now truly all alone. Ishidro then speaks up and states she should stop here. It would suck seeing them be hacked to bits. Plus, Guts has gone berserk. They're gonna need the focus on reaching him. Shirka closes her eyes and reaches out with their astral luminous body. She approaches Guts, and the armor rejects her. She's thrown back and wakes up. The armor is even stronger than before and she can't get through. The armor is stronger than before? Since it's living, is it literally growing more resistant to resistance? Or is Guts' darkness higher? It's a very important question for this time. As while Guts may be getting nearer to the end of his quest with every battle, he must consider the dark question of what comes next. Still, Guts is in his craziest frenzy yet, ripping monster flesh bit from bit as everyone watches shocked. Everyone but Kaska, who has began to run away? Farnese runs after as Guts notices them, both appearing as dark apparitions in his berserked eyes. Farnese cuts down monsters as she chases Kaska, and when a monster she can't beat appears, Guts ravages it with ease, if anything more brutal than before. Was it to protect Kaska? They can't be sure. In Guts' eyes they appear as apparitions. He has enough of a hold of himself to somewhat discern them from the monsters. Still, the Beast of Darkness urges him to kill. Surrender to it. Yield. The chains break and the beast fully stands up in Guts. Yet Guts begins to hear another voice. It directs its gaze to Kaska as the darkness becomes light. It's the same being from the beach, the Moonlight Boy. He's returned to shock Guts back to himself. He must not lose Kaska, his light. The armor roars out as Guts resists it. He struggles as it clings to his skin. He falls to the floor, and Shirka senses a chance to create a connection. It works. She pulls the helmet off Guts and he returns to himself. Everyone screams about how dangerous this was, and Guts, back to his senses, agrees. Though Shirka saved him, he owes her. Everyone then questions why Kaska ran off, and as they look around, the answer is clear. The Moonlight Boy has truly returned. Shirka then recalls how he appeared before in the same exact situation. A full moon, a peak of astral magical power. And Guts also puts it together. The same thing happened to him. He was saved by a bright light just like before, right when this boy appears. Whatever this boy is, he is an astral power of immense energy that only appears with the full moon. The running theory at this point in the story is that the Moonlight Boy is basically Griffith. But listen, Griffith had used Guts and Kaska's corrupted child to rebirth himself into the human plane of existence. And therefore, the assumption is that both beings now exist in Griffith's body. So on nights like this, a full moon, a peak of astral energy, well, the baby, who has now grown into a boy, can split off from Griffith and act on his own. And this is backed up by how this has happened every full moon since that event. Izma is then introduced to the group. Her very upset she's the last person remaining on her island. I feel bad for her. Ishidro does too, advocating for her and getting her a pass to be on Roderick's ship. And she's very happy. But Guts states that before they set out on another adventure, there's something they've gotta do. Settle things on the island. First though, spellcasting, gotta protect the ship, and Guts will need some care before rushing into another fight. And of course, while this is all spoke about, the Moonlight Boy stares at Guts. On the ship, it's revealed Farnese will be the one to cast a protection spell. Remember, she's training to be a witch, so she's stunned by this. But Shirka reassures her, she must be the ship's key defense. This is an important but simple spell. Best part is, Shirka will guide her through the process. With this, Farnese is determined to do well, and so it begins. First, she enters into her luminous body, venturing into the astral world to begin the spell. She chants the spell with great energy. Her surprised at the power, the emotions, and the size of such an action. She realizes how small she is in the pool known as existence. She truly understands the value of this enormous thing she is a part of. With this, the spell is complete, the ship being consumed in magical protection as the sky is covered in white. It's beautiful. Her and Shirka then return to themselves, Farni's surprised she pulled it off, and Shirka tells her that with this, she can call herself a magi, which is just awesome. Everyone else can also see this growth. Guts even compliments her, and notice how Serpico worriedly smiles. He's accepted the journey and the worries that would come with, but he can't help but crack a smile for her efforts. Though at this, it's time to head into the cave. Guts is heading in with Shirka while the others take care of the ship. Shirka's upset because Guts had to injure himself again, but he could care less. He even calls her a good luck charm, which is just awesome. Love these two. Shirka and Guts then begin to summon the armor. Shirka on the shoulders to stay connected to him as he uses the power. She comments on how hard it is to restrain it, yet Guts can summon it like nothing. The armor is like a starving beast before bait. Its astral form is monstrous. It indeed starves for Guts, trying to devour him with overwhelming power. Still, their process works perfectly. Shirka restrains it, pulling the darkness away from Guts' eyes. Don't worry, he's now thinking straight. They've done it. As everyone watches the two dash towards the cave, the Moonlight Boy also watches. Then Isma begins to hear those weird voices again. Wonder what's up with that. Though Guts and Shirka now head into the dark cave, the brand gushes blood. They can both tell whatever's inside is a different level. The sea god is a whole different type of beast. Traveling inside, Guts comments on how the area reminds him of Quaifloth and how it feels like the depths of hell. They even find old statues, likely old seals for the sea god. They really are knocking on a sort of hell's door. Past the seal is a never-ending sea of tentacle-like sea creatures. Even Bonebeard is back, yelling that what they approach is true despair itself. The sea god is before them, a beast of unfathomable size with teeth that go on forever. It's horrifying. Griffith splitting the world really caused beasts like this to appear. Guts and Shirka in sight of it instantly stop. They know it's bad news, and when it roars, the pressure release threatens to send them flying. Shirka begins to panic and suggests a better place to fight, but Guts refuses. There's one way and one way only. Right into the mouth of this freak. In a second, Guts dashes forth, smashing down on Bonebeard as he leaps over a sea of monsters. He stops for a second before the sea god, and again, this thing is impossible. What other horrors could be out there? Regardless, gotta stay focused. Guts is on a mission. He jumps into the teeth and Bonebeard celebrates. Let their festival be on its way. Inside the beast is a graveyard of ships. Shirka concluding the beast takes ships and makes the sailors a part of themselves. If I had to imagine, this beast must be the form of tales that speak of ghost ships and whatnot. Though before it was just tales, but because of Griffith, well, anybody can just interact with this thing. It's been fully unleashed, and it's horrifying. Our duo then begin to feel a pulse. It's the sea god's heart, and despite it alone shaking the inside of the beast, it must have a huge heart. Guts smiles. If it has a heart, it's gonna have trouble like any other creature if you stick it in it. All he's gotta do is strike the heart. Shirka then senses where the heart is, and as Guts wonders how to get there best, stomach acid rains down. You see, this is a chance. It'll rise everything in the stomach up, so he can cut open the top and go from there. A bunch of sick monsters then appear, parasites living in the sea god. And of course they too want to escape the stomach acid and get higher, chasing Guts up a mast. The mast then begins to break and Guts jumps off, cutting through the top of the stomach before falling back down. But the pressurized air pulls him up. Very lucky. Yet here, in a new part of the sea god, more creatures emerge. It would seem Guts' quest to this beast's heart has only just begun. Switching back to everyone on the ship, Bonebeard is taken to the sea alongside the biggest group of sea monsters yet. Facing them, Roderick demands a fire, blowing down as much monsters as he can from the deck. And even though it destroys many, Bonebeard's ship breaks through and crashes into them. While Farni's spell is effective in destroying the sea monsters, the otherworldly, physical stuff like ships and the changed humans are just fine inside, so Ishidro heads the charge to push them back. The battle goes pretty well. Everyone fights hard as Ishidro gets his fated rematch against Bonebeard. perfectly enough on a rocking boat like before. Using his dagger, Ishidro seems to have an easy time. He is already outmaneuvering the pirate and now he has fire. But then the pirate covers him in arrows, Ishidro having to be saved by Izma. I really thought he was gonna have a moment there. Getting his get back against this dude who beat him before, especially since he's become a bit stronger, would have been perfect. But I guess we're just not getting Ishidro development today. With this, Izma finds some bombs and the pirates leave quickly. They won against the pirates and Farnese's spell worked perfectly at pushing away the otherworldly. All that's left is Guts and Shirka's efforts. Inside, they trek deeper and deeper. Things get more weird, but finally, they seem to be where they need to be. The pressure is proof. It's so strong Guts feels numb. Him stating, if he stayed too long, the pulse would kill him with madness. Guts stomps forward slowly against the pressure to end it, yet all of a sudden the creature begins to shake and its pulse intensifies. Back on the ship, the Moonlight Boy seems to notice this. He moves and seems to brace for something. Izma then falls to her knees. She has felt a terrible chill. And it's then the island explodes. Rock flies everywhere as the cave collapses. The sea god has emerged. It is fully awakened. The being is the size of an island, and its tendrils threaten to take and smash everything. Inside, things have changed for Guts too. The being is fully awakened, as every inch of it is being covered in strange ocean beasts. Instantly, he jumps into action, shredding everything due to the armor, but then they seem to be unlimited. This is bad. More enemies than the sea god is moving. They have no time to waste. The sea god's movement is right in front of the ship. Ishidro saying the sea god is exactly as the legend says. It could swallow everything, and the poor girl, having already lost everything, is forced to watch her home be destroyed too. A giant wave then crashes into the ship, throwing Ishidro overboard, and with no fear, Izma jumps in to save him. She reaches him fast as a monster threatens them. It inches closer and closer when Izma begins to hear a voice. Speak. Say it. Say your name. Your one and only true name. Her face lights up. Her name. She speaks and transforms. If the legend of the sea god is true and before them, then the legend of Meros must be as well. Izma is transformed into a mermaid and leaps from the water with Ishidro in arms. Everyone is shocked as they sit on the deck. Even Izma. The stuff her father said was true. She truly is a Mero. Ivalera then instructs Izma to never tell anyone her true name. It's what transforms them. If someone else knew it, they could control her. Though this begs the question, who told her her own name then? Well, it's all revealed as they look into the water to find hundreds of Meros, all swimming towards the sea god. The legend is true. The Meros will wage war against the sea god once again. Izma then jumps in. This is her island and Meros must fight against the sea god. And so the ship puts it into overdrive to assist Izma and Guts in this insane final battle. Just tell me why the girl gets more development than Ishidro in an arc that seemed like it was going to be about him, but now he's the girl's cheerleader. You could have done him at both times instead of making him just there to cheer her up. But hey, Izma, I actually really do like her character, even if, to be honest, she's very simple for Berserk. She's lonely because the village decided what she was and she didn't get to choose. And being stuck on this dead-end island, of course she couldn't do much. It's a sad and lonely life you have to imagine she's lived. But then our group shows up and everything just starts to roll into place for her. It's very simple, but it's heartfelt and it's something you want to root for. It's just nice to see in such a messed up world. In the sea god, Guts presses on. The sheer number of foes is insane. But this is a pretty good look for the Berserker armor. Fish that should be able to break bone with their teeth can't do anything against it. Though what injures Guts is the pulsing and pressure of this sea god. Every time its heart beats, Guts feels it through every inch of his being. It sends him to the floor every time. All this while dealing with monsters? Things are dire. Eventually it gets to the point where Guts can't even open his eyes, asking Shirka to guide him. They're on the home stretch. But then Guts is pinned to the floor by another rumble. He can't feel anything. It's going dark. He's numb. It's all as if he was on the seafloor. Yet in this moment they begin to hear singing. On the outside, Izma swims towards the sea god, relishing in her newfound form and powers. It's everything she ever dreamed of. She's then attacked by monsters, where she's then thankfully saved by another Marrow, one that feels familiar. It's her mother. With them reunited, the Marrows begin the power of song, the hundreds aiming it towards the sea god, and Izma and her mother in arms join them. This attack of course staggers the sea god. It was what they used to originally seal it. Izma, her mother, and the hundreds of Marrows continue their song-filled attack. And so Guts seems to finally have a chance, Shirka demanding he get up. It's then the beast enroaches onto Guts. He hasn't had his fill yet. Quit laying down on the job. It licks its jaws. Get up and pierce some flesh and blood. Let it feel the pain. It twists and wrings out Guts' blood. Yet with this, he's back in it. Now jumping into the sea god's heart, readying his massive blade, and bringing it down in one huge swing. He's done it. The inside floods with blood and its monstrous jaw erupts into a sea of red. It spits up all the destroyed ships as it deflates like a balloon. Ishidro celebrates. It's history. Like in the legend, the sea god has been felled. But wait, why is Shirka back on the ship? Guts is still inside. In the chaos of the beast's death, she's lost him. Izma and her mother then reappear. Guts isn't anywhere in the water. He must be inside. The Marrows thank everyone. They will assist them to find Guts. We then cut to Guts reawakening. It's pitch black. He can somewhat feel his sword. His legs are numb, and he forces himself to move. He's inside, but now without Shirka. Still, he knows up is up. He's gotta start cutting. Yet anytime he cuts, the area is just flooded with more blood, and he's not strong enough to resist the current. Is this how he ends? The Moonlight Boy apparition burns away the dark. It points up and seems to give Guts the energy to follow. As he does, he questions what this being is. Finally, it tells him where to cut. Summoning all his strength, Guts does so, and water rushes in. His arm is then grabbed. It's the Marrows. They've saved him, and they bring him to the surface before everyone. The Moonlight Boy attentively staring, almost as if he saved his dad. The Marrows then wish to guide everyone to Elfhelm, and Izma joins them back on the ship. I guess it's where she feels the most comfortable. Shirka and Farnese heal Guts. Farnese able to properly assist this time. Again, her growth is just awesome, one of the best characters in the series. And finally, she's actually seeing it for herself, saying there's something she can actually do. Better yet, all is made perfect as Guts compliments her. Kaska then wakes and wanders around. Like before, the Moonlight Boys randomly disappeared close to morning. Shirka confirms everything we've already put together, except she's iffy about its origin. Her assuming the Moonlight Boy is a manifestation of King Hanafubuku of Elfhelm. And I'm personally not buying that. I like the family theory way more. In bed now alone, the moon fading into the sky, Guts seems to sense how much things are changing. They fell to God of the Sea. How much else could happen before the journey ends? He recalls School Knight's words about the armor, about how it's basically destroying him and causing him to slowly lose himself. He seems scared of it, rolling around in bed with the thought. There's no guarantee, but good thing the journey is almost over. Almost over. He thinks of that thought. Kaska, she's going to be herself, but there's no guarantee her wish will be his wish. Guts is then tormented by the eclipse. The beast of darkness emerges. Kaska fell apart because she can't cope with this. What would happen if she got her sanity back? Would she even want that? He looks outside. When this journey ends, and he thinks of Griffith. He has no idea what comes next. The finishing line being a finishing line feels wrong to him, and so his mind drifts to Griffith, though he then notices the moon's branches. And on them the Moonlight Boy stands. dissipating into the flow of the tree and appearing as a comet over the ship. God, I love the branches on the moon imagery. It's simply saying, well, the moon is very important to the astral world, and since the boy is walking across it on this world tree, he must be very important to it as well. We're also beginning to hear more about this world tree stuff since Ganishka died, and now we're seeing it, so it's going to be important. I'm just going to get into it later, trust me. But of course, as I said earlier, this arc starts in a weird place. And now that we've gotten through this whole first section, I'm going to say it's still a weird place and a rough starting point. I understand the obvious. It's to show the effects of Griffith breaking the astral barrier and kinda colliding both worlds into one. The sea god is meant to illustrate even higher powers, beings that used to be worshipped can now physically manifest. This also works well with that contrast I mentioned to last arc. We thought that this was going to be easygoing, we thought we were going to a place of fun magic, but the journey is not that simple. It's still intense, there's still some bumps. And you know, you'd imagine the sea is pretty harmless. I mean, if all the foes they're fighting were on land, what's gonna chase them on the sea? Well, we see it and it's debatably even worse. Though whatever purpose aside, I do think we can all agree this section drags on a lot. I like Izuma a lot, but it seems like Ishidro, a character we all wanted to get development, was cast aside in favor of her. In the last arc, everyone got a good bit of development except Ishidro, and I think it was fair to assume that this was going to be this moment. If I was reading Berserk for the first time, I'd be like, yeah, it's Ishidro's time, but it's not. While at the beginning of this reread I wasn't too big of a fan of him, since I've seen him more, I've come to like him a lot more. I see him as like a mini Guts, and I actually really like that part of him. But I can't imagine a mini Guts would stay the same way forever. I imagine he would develop and fight his own battles and learn more about the world. Something Ishidro doesn't seem to really do, it's just jokes. Though speaking of a mini Guts, we hop into a mini arc all about a mini Guts. It would seem Guts is currently dreaming as a time of when he was a teen, and the dream is quite sad. I don't care where I drop dead. That's how things seem to me. That life that didn't even mean anything in this shitty world of a battlefield. Guts has been captured and is led by knights. He trips and is whipped. He's frustrated, but at himself. Why is it that when he gets knocked down, his legs have to go and stand back up? Guts is depressed, likely when this took place, and very much so in this moment. It's clear. A man behind him asks if he's okay. He gives him advice. Keep your footing if you want to survive. Since they're mercenaries, nobody's going to pay their ransom. They're already lucky enough after surviving a battle. Them still walking here? It must be God's will. Guts remarks that they're gonna be worked in a mine. Besides, their whole work is killing people. Why would God care for them? The man grabs Guts' arm as he readies to fall again, and he yells to never touch him. This occurred in the time following Guts being assaulted. The trauma is fresh and still clear in his mind. It's his darkest time, and here we see he's found himself in a dark situation. It only gets worse as the man comments on how pale Guts is. He has an arrow wound, and he then falls unable to stay standing, though the man takes the whipping for Guts, making a case that Guts shouldn't die before he can work. And to Guts, he lifts him up. Quit acting tough, he doesn't want to die here, right? And despite being down in every way, Guts accepts this. He truly isn't ready for death. Still, Guts can't help but comment that he's not for sale. And while the old man thinks it's a joke, it's another trauma-inflamed remark. Guts was sold to an old man. No one better try that again. This statement introduces history to their conversation. Guts is young and a mercenary. He must have quite a crazy history. The man comments on how they speak of their past. As mercenaries they kill and die. Maybe it's because of that rottenness found on the battlefield that someday they might find war buddies. And for them, rather than themselves, they'll put their lives on the line, assuming they live long enough for it to happen. In this moment, Guts imagines this, having friends, ones he'd die for, and in this scope of imagination, a single white hawk flies. He would find this. He found it in Griffith. This man is used to hammer in the point that this was one of Guts' darkest times of his life. The mentions of his physical state, how Guts got when he was touched, the mentions of being sold, and how Guts reacts to and responds to it all, illustrates a boy who is numb. This section of the story is going to illustrate that a lot, that he's been beaten down to the world, and he's almost numb to it, that he just wants to run away, that he wants to die, but he just can't. Instinct, something pushes him on. It's a sad thing to see, but the mercenary also presents an idea of why. It's so that one day Guts might find people who appreciate him. He might find a situation that makes all this pain worth it. And as we do know, he would eventually find it. The man and Guts reach their destination, and quickly he unlocks Guts' cuffs. This is his only chance to escape. Run down the cliff like hell and they won't catch him. The man refuses to follow. He'll never unlock his own shackles. Plus, in his shape, hard labor is going to kill Guts. I'd assume he just doesn't want to see that. They share names and Guts promises to pay him back one day, all before jumping down the cliff. The man watches his guards chase, now smiling. Actually, he'll pay him back now. He removes his hands from the cuffs with ease as Guts runs and falls down due to his injuries. The guards capture him quickly, and as Guts looks up, the man has escaped. He knew Guts would fall and be an easy catch for the guards. He set him up and made him feel comfortable with him. Also, he could use him as a distraction. Honestly, he should have seen it coming the second he heard he was a mercenary. No such kindness exists in their world. Yet it's a reminder that Guts is young, he's immature, and he's making mistakes. This is reflected as Guts recalls a memory with Gambino, his shitty foster father. He was amongst the new guys and was told to rush in, yet was surprised when not everybody ran in, just the new guys. They were then hit by arrows, revealing they were a decoy to find the ambush. After the battle, Gambino finds Guts. He was a good decoy. He basically tells Guts to take this whole thing as advice. If he wants to survive, do it with his own brains and skills. Don't listen to others. They'll do despicable things for their own ambition. Don't even trust his father. And geez, what a horrible line. Guts wakes in a cell. It's dark. He's shackled, and now in a worse condition than before. He can't believe he let his guard down so easily. He feels weak, cold, and he's lost a lot of blood. Reflecting on everything, he states, "Someday, somewhere?" Those words don't belong on a battlefield. He doesn't care he drops dead, even now. He spots a rat and grabs it instantly, tearing apart its flesh and eating it. It was instinct. Like a wolf, he fought to survive yet again, but in his sadness he suffers. Why did he do it again? He doesn't seem to want to live. He then looks around the cell. All it has is a single flower. Guess that makes them cellmates. But as he fades, passing out, the flower is held up by his spirit. He can't believe it, yet his body won't stay up long enough to let him see the truth. Spring flowers of distant days. Now we begin to understand a little bit of this arc's name. Flowers can appear anywhere, even in a dark, dingy cell, but as we'll come to see, they can whittle away just as fast. Flowers can take many forms. Some can be dark, some can be light, and some can be very bright. And in this moment, I think Guts is meant to reflect on this flower as Kaska. She is his light. She's the last thing he sees in every single situation, just like this flower as he yet again faces death. I think you can take the idea of a flower appearing literally anywhere as Guts also meeting Kaska. As Guts met Kaska on a battlefield, an oddity. You would never find a woman on the battlefield during this time. And sorry to spoil, but flowers can also whittle away. The flower is going to disappear just as quick from Guts' grasp as Kaska did during the eclipse. Guts is dreaming about all of this as he thinks on if Kaska's wish will be his. And it seems he's considering the idea that his bright flower, Kaska might very well be a distant day. Things never may be as they once were. Guts is woken by a lord and his guards. He inquires about his injuries and Guts spits in his face. Surprisingly, the man takes this as a good sign. He's lively, and he actually has medicine put onto Guts. The reason is then revealed. Of course, it's not caring. Guts is going to do a job, and the job is him offering his life for his son's sake. Soon, the Lord's son is gonna go into battle. He's tender-hearted. Guts is simply an object to bolster his will. He will kill Guts and amp him up for battle. It's a fake fight Guts is designed to lose in. Guts returns to his cell, out cold, near death once again. Yet like before, the flower appears as the only light. And this time, the spirit beside it approaches. Guts blows her away with the breath, now trying to speak to her. Is that her flower? He won't pluck it. They're both stuck in this cell. Might as well get along. He thinks he's crazy for talking to it. He's hallucinating, but at least it'll kill time. The elf approaches. Chich is Chich. She got the name from a rat. It's the sound, it makes. Regardless, she says she's the spirit of the flower, and she actually says she's not a hallucination. She was saved since Guts killed the rat after a flower. If it would have died, she would have died. And I guess because of this, she's decided to reveal herself. Guts asks her for water. She brings water. She then heats him up. She is warm energy from the sun. It should be proof this is real to Guts. The light really does exist in this dark world. In this light, Chich is so happy Guts is a good person. She then notices Guts is bleeding, taking a leaf from her flower and placing it on the wound. The pain is then gone. She's healing him. Guts then begins to move, and she wonders, will Guts leave when he can fully move again? Humans always come to this cell and cry. They then leave. In the end, there's nothing here. Sun comes in, people come in, then it's dark and the people leave. She loves the sun, but hates it because the darkness leaves her with nothing. She's lonely. This causes Guts to put it all together. Still thinking it's a hallucination, he concludes it must be his weakness in physical form. Saying this is a lot. His weakness, wishing for a person next to him to heal, warm him up, and to keep him away from loneliness, the darkness, admits that in some way he desires it, even if he considers that part of him weak. This is backed up for how he felt about Gambino's words. He desired his father's admiration, and now he fell for the old man's words. He wanted to believe someone else would care for him. Guts wants it, but he believes he shouldn't have it and thinks he can't have it, that it's weak. And again, the flower and its spirit is like Kaska. Kaska is his warmth. She heals him, and she keeps him away from loneliness. This is the section saying those things, Kaska, it might be a distant memory for him. Guts then takes the spirit into his hands. On the way here, he saw a hill with tons of flowers like hers. Once he can move, he'll bring her and her flower there. This makes Chich so happy. So happy she goes to happily healing Guts' wounds. She literally can't help it, because he's the only one to find her. She wonders if she'll be able to find others once outside, and Guts heads to sleep, the sunny warm spot on his back never leaving. Yet when he wakes, something's wrong. He feels better, his wounds have closed, but where's Chich? He looks down. The flower has no leaves and has begun to die. He then realizes, it wasn't a dream? It really happened? She got so caught up into healing Guts that she didn't think about the consequences and plucked all her leaves, all just to heal him. The door is banged on as Guts picks up and hides the flower. It's time for Guts to do the Lord's work. He's given his armor and steps outside to face the Lord's son. While the father amps his son up, Guts is given a dull blade, and with this, they step to battle. The son goes in for a heavy strike. Guts blocks and is thrown off his feet. Still, he uses his small size to evade and narrowly avoid death. Victory seems inevitable for the son, but Guts holding the flower knows he needs to win. He strikes back and gets some good blows in. It should have killed him, but the sword he got is way too messed up. It's then Guts imagines Gambino fighting. Remember, this boy is a noble. They don't play fair with nobles. Guts dodges and jumps on the back of the boy, holding the sword to his neck. Gambino tells him that there's multiple ways to use a sword as Guts pushes him to the ground, using its guard to pluck the boy's eyes out, all before taking his helmet off and holding the blade to his neck. He's got a hostage. Guts demands his path is cleared, and of course, being a noble with a noble father, he does everything to save his royal son. Guts begins leaving when the soldiers try and take a cheap shot, but in the moment the flower slips from his clothes, and since Guts reached to grab it, their arrow hits the noble. Chiches save them again. A small way to say that even if the flower is wilted away, even if it's different and doesn't offer the same warmth, it being safe saves Guts, just like Kaska. Then, all of a sudden, the castle is attacked, a band of knights riding in through the gates, the leader revealing himself to be the man from before. He didn't come for Guts, it was simply luck. Plus, Guts is alive because of him, they're even, but Guts is more focused on the flower. It's begun to disappear. He returns to the hill covered in similar flowers. He lets go, leaving it to the wind. Guts turns away. He wonders if they'll find Chich. He looks down, reflecting on this whole dream. It's uncertain whether the event was dream or reality. It was so long ago, when he was just a boy. The buried memory of an early spring day. This small 3-chapter arc is quite possibly one of the best depictions and best summarizations we get of who and what Guts is as a character. It's a small letter of who he is and what he's doing right now, perfectly reflected at the perfect time. At his core, Guts upholds himself as a solemn, strong man. And this arc tells us that despite this truth, Guts is human. He's vulnerable and even he can feel lonely. And that loneliness, for Guts, it leads to a want for connection. After being cast aside by the world, after being tortured by life time and time again, and after surviving despite it all, Guts can still feel. And this arc shows us that what he feels is loneliness. Guts again faces betrayal and death, and when he again braves it, he speaks to this spirit eagerly in a hope she's real. He continuously says he's hallucinating, but he speaks anyways. He's desperate for this tiny piece of connection. While he may refer to it as a weakness, it's something he clearly wants. It's not only Chich. He trusts the man hoping that he can one day find people he belongs with, and he sees the vision of Gambino, a person he loved. Guts wants human connection, you can't deny it. This mini arc is to show us that Guts has always been this kind-hearted person with people. It's just experience has molded him in a way to see it as a weakness. It's something he has to push away to save himself. Everyone he's ever known in his younger life treated him horribly, so the only thing he can do is trust himself. It's brilliant to show this dream in an arc where Guts currently puts all his trust into others, trusting that they can help him on his journey to save his wilting flower Kaska, a journey he isn't even sure is right or real, just like Chich. Kaska may not truly want this, and it might not even be possible. You can also think of this whole thing as functioning as kind of a small recap and reminder of what the Golden Age was. After all, it's been a while since we were at the Golden Age. Guts is reminded of his history and told of the situation he could one day find, topped off with a white hawk in the sky. He's then betrayed and braves death yet again. Even then, in his worst spot, he shows himself to be human, all before surviving with luck and skills he learned from his father. And it's all showing like another adventure of many, implying it's happened a lot. Imagine how much it's happened to Guts before he met everyone. All this was to say, Guts has changed a lot, and Guts has healed a lot. Yet he's still a very caring character this far into the future, even if he doesn't love to show it. That is what this dream is meant to show, and I dare say it does a beautiful job at doing so. Trolls chase a carriage. Even the most normal of people have been affected by the world merger, as you can't even get around normally. From the back of the carriage, arrows rain. The boy controlling it then revealed to be Rickert, and he's joined by Erica. Together they fend the monsters off, her joining in by dropping spikes to stop them, though it would seem nothing is working. But thankfully from behind the trolls are attacked by none other than the Bandit the Hawk. They push away the trolls, but this is when another insane monster appears, a bird the size of a building. The soldiers are pushed back, but a familiar face appears, Irvine, the demon archer. He throws his hat to the side and begins to transform. This beast is his prey. It won't escape. From the mist, Irvine's apostle form is revealed, a satyr-like beast with a huge bow. In one strike, the beast is felled, and the soldiers erupt in cheer of Irvine. It's a sight Rickert can't believe. Irvine approaches and looks at them, and Rickert again can't believe anything. It feels weird. He knows Griffith had something to do with everything. How there's demons everywhere, how these monsters are attacking all the time, and how the world is just generally more ominous. The day he saw Griffith, it was Griffith, but different. If anything, he was somehow more like Griffith, like he had pushed his goals further. He thinks of how he's wanted to see Griffith again, but just like Guts, it's not important to him. He has something to protect first, Erica. Still, things have changed. Rickert is then approached by a familiar man, General Laban. Rickert recognizes him and reveals he was a former Hawk, and this launches them into a conversation speaking about how the world has changed. Rickert's carriage is brought with the soldiers. As they near the capital, stones stick out of the ground. They're wing stones, huge charms that protect against evil. This isn't all that's changed though. The world tree covers the lands, as far as anyone can see and higher than anything they can believe. Under its branches, people can just work. They have nothing to worry about, as the tree blesses them all. Thanks to that, Falconia is able to take in everyone. It's a city truly for the people. Around this time, a very interesting debate begins to make itself apparent. One that necessarily you're not supposed to actually debate, but it's like the story wants you to think about as we go through this section, and it'll kind of show you a clear answer. But this is that it would seem Griffith has made a truly peaceful place. We see that his castle, his systems, everything he's doing seems to be general goodness for his people. Still, you can't forget, as we just seen, everything outside of this is horrific. In order to make this perfect castle, he's made everything else significantly worse. That is what breaking the barrier has done. Of course, since we've seen the world from the outside, we now have to look on the inside, and that's why we follow Rickert. And so, it's like Berserk is asking, is Griffith's kingdom worth it? Is this acceptable? Think of it as we continue on through this section. Up close, the capital is truly breathtaking. From above, it's never ending, and it's ushered in people from every single walk of life. It's as if the whole country existed here and only here. Sir Laban gives Rickert a letter of recommendations to blacksmiths and such, as well as recommendation to meet Griffith. And though unsteady, Rickert does acknowledge that he wants to see Griffith. As him and Erica travel through the city, a familiar face pops up. While they have no idea who this is, we do. It's Luca and her group of girls. It's just nice to see they made it out of everything safely. They help with lodging, and when storing their horse, another familiar face appears. That's Daiba, the dark mage under Midland's old ruler, Ganishka. He speaks to animals and they obey. Even scarier, his barn roars. Apparently, there's a monster in there. Who knows? The rest of the night shows Erica taking a bath in the bathhouse, the girl going on and on about their scary journey and how nice it is here in comparison. The night ends with Rickert tucking her in. He looks to the sky, and the city is ever awing. Yeah, the place is pretty perfect, and I think Rickert is seeing it. This would indeed be a right place for a girl like Erica. Still, he can't forget his memories of Griffith. In the morning, Rickert walks into the palace. It's unfathomably huge. He's literally a speck of dust in front of it. He's then told away by the entrance, and he can't help but feel like this entire palace was designed for Griffith's likeness. It's just insane, and the insanity is the picture of him. Sir Owen then appears, and he takes him into the palace. They enter amongst a ceremony, a funeral ceremony, where people are being blessed before being sent off. The pontiff personally attends and performs the blessing himself. The princess also attends, but most amazingly, Griffith and his medium Sonia attend. Griffith takes the souls of the dead and manifests them one last time, allowing loved ones to say goodbye. This is quite a sight. For every important person to show up at a funeral, even allowing some to say goodbye for a final time, is a very big sign of care, that the people of his kingdom are valued. He even has Sonia, a medium who proved her powers in the arc before, crowned as the official medium. It's all to make this very perfect and very personal event. Again, it looks like Griffith is trying to make a truly peaceful place. One of Griffith's commanders, locusts, then appear, describing the phrase, divine right of kings. It is the idea that the throne is bestowed by God, and that must not be violated. Therefore, many claim they are chosen to make their way to the throne. However, every one of those cases loses their merit when presented by the real thing. He is saying Griffith is that real thing. He is the king of kings before the people. He's perfect, as if he was a god. Even Rickert himself can see this, stating a phrase we've heard many times: Griffith is straight out of a painting. Locust then asks if he can borrow Rickert. He wants to share something privately with an original Band of the Hawk member. Locust seems to have heard all about the original band and what separates them, as he brings Rickert outside of an ominous dark spear far away from the palace. He states, this is Pandemonium, the den of war demons who protect the Hawk. Locust then questions why Rickert has come. Is it for old friendship, a way to establish himself in the new city, or to question him about what happened that day? He deduces that since Rickert wasn't branded, he was spared and so must be curious about everything. Rickert reveals he knows the answer, and so Locust wonders if he just wants to hear it from Griffith, hear it in some remorseful tone. He can tell his eyes aren't ones of hatred, leaving Rickert to remember when Guts said something similar. He could never really hate Griffith. Locust makes the point this section is trying to show. You should see before you decide Griffith is bad. Rickert should see everything around Griffith before he makes his choice, hence him being brought before Pandemonium. Inside is wild. The beasts fight against each other in an arena. Rickert is shocked. Locust explains, they are monsters captured and dedicated to training, or so they say. Chances are they just want to slaughter. The huge Apostle Borkov kills and bites to death an ogre, it being, as Rickert says, a scene out of hell. Rickert screams that in exchange for these monsters, Griffith killed the band, but Locust speaks up. They are human. Apostles are refashioned by fate and given obsession. If the Hawk were not leading, they would be mindlessly violent, but Griffith has made them into a sword. He gave even demons a place to belong. Locust explains that people now wield swords to protect mankind. Even if death is inescapable, people no longer fear it. The soul is shown to be immortal. No one has ever achieved this except Griffith. He brings forth an inclusive utopia. Falconia. It's perfect. Here for a second, a small break from the madness, we watch Erica speak with Luca and Daiba. Erica helps Daiba with the leg brace, her speaking about how great Rickert and her father were at crafting stuff. Her father even once made a sword bigger than a man. Both Luca and Daiba say no one could possibly use that, but at the same time they both realize, well, maybe someone can. Both obviously thinking of Guts, but they don't know each other know Guts. It's hilarious. But with that, back to Rickert. He has walked around the castle a bit more and now enters into the main courtyard, the royal courtyard. Griffith sits with Charlotte, Sonia, and the Pontiff, where he happily compliments Charlotte's tea which Sonia complains about. Brat. The Pontiff then again declares he will crown Griffith. He can't die till then. He can't die till he completes his destiny. It's then Rickert is brought before them, Griffith instantly excusing himself to walk towards him. As the Hawk of Light steps forward, Rickert wonders what he'll say. After seeing the people happy, after seeing a healthy capital, godly moments, devilish moments, he's seen both sides and now must choose his words. Yet in the grand scheme of it all, he just feels tiny, feeling as if what he says might not truly matter. But finally, Griffith stops before him. He asks, "Will you still dream the same dream?" Essentially asking, will he still follow the band of the Hawk, the band led by Griffith? Has he found an answer to the hill of swords he created? Rickert slaps Griffith. It echoes through the crowd. It seems to shock even Griffith. Rickert states he was ashamed he couldn't help save him that day. He felt like he owed a debt for not sharing the same fate as the others. He can't get mad like Guts or take responsibility. But even then, the one who made their grave markers, the one who proved the Band of the Hawk even existed, was him. He then grabs his Band of the Hawk crest. The new is different than the old. He uses this to finally say, he's Rickert of the Band of the Hawk, led by Griffith, the White Hawk. But his leader isn't the Hawk of Light. Goodbye. Griffith states he's been rejected as he looks out at Rickert leaving. He himself seems unaffected, but Locust, the ever-loyal follower of Griffith, seems beyond upset, to the point of crushing a building. Rickert has rejected Griffith, essentially saying the Griffith he follows isn't the Griffith in front of him. Rickert was the one who made the graves. He knows that everyone is dead. He probably feels it more than anyone else because he doesn't know the why. He doesn't know how he could have helped because he wasn't there. He feels this burden. He feels just pain by the fact that every one of his allies died, he made the graves, and he couldn't do anything about it. And now he's seeing this perfect city, one made by the person who killed those people. Sure, it's perfect. Sure, the person he's protecting, Erica, loves it, but he can't accept it as the maker of those graves. He can't accept that this kingdom is made on top of their lives and his burden. How can the kingdom be perfect if it's built on such a horrible thing? Returning to Erica, Rickert watches all the help she's provided while learning of all the amazing inventions this city has. Rickert is truly amazed, and to be honest, he knows this is the perfect place for him. But he can't stay. He slapped Griffith, and while everyone takes it as a simple spat, Rickert could never live in a city built on the graves he created. Luca then asks another question. Okay, so him and Griffith, whatever. What about Erica? The girl instantly speaks up. She's going wherever Rickert goes, their family, and Luca states there will be regret. Just don't make excuses down the road. She's saying if this is the path he's chosen, stick with it. As sun sets, Rickert wanders around the castle. He thinks of the Band of the Hawk. He has things he has lost. Regret and reluctance follow him, but he does have a family after all. Rickert then hears a voice. He turns. It's Rakshas. The dark void states losing family is sad, but no worry. Once he's gone, they can stay in the city with Griffith. Rakshas attacks. It would seem he's been ordered by Locust to assassinate Rickert for the slap. Yet it's then the Bakiraka appear to save Rickert. They want to speak to him in exchange for saving him, and so they start by fending off Rakshas. Rakshas continues to make comments about how he was once part of the Bakiraka as he distorts and twists to fight. It's very weird, but eventually Salat is able to shatter his mask, but nothing happens. Rakshas revealing that's not where his head is. Still, the apostle seems upset over the broken mask, slipping away, stating he'll get a new one before he comes back tonight. Salat and the Bakiraka then face Rickert. He instantly recognizes them from the Golden Age, and instead of questioning each other, Rickert proposes something. We don't get to hear it, but before we know it, they're all before Erica and co. They scare everyone, but Rickert explains how he's leaving and was attacked by assassins. It would seem the plan is for Rickert to join the Bakiraka in their return to their village. Still, he wants to bring Erica along. He reflects on Guts. He too was on a dangerous journey with someone dear, and he knows he's out there doing the same. Though Rickert will have a harsh trial before his journey, Rakshas has appeared once more. hitting traps before Rickert showers him in arrows. Though again, hitting his mask doesn't mean it's his head, and before he knows it, the Bakiraka join in to attack, them calling him the Thrill Killer. He couldn't be an assassin as he toys with death instead. Interesting lore. Salat works to cut him to shreds, yet it does nothing and the black mask just extends to fight back. It's then Rakshas is hit by a burning surprise attack. He's covered in oil and flame. This should be fatal, yet he jumps and rises to the sky, the mask becoming even more large and sporadic, as it takes a live horse and rips it in two, using the blood to extinguish the flame. Just what the hell are they even dealing with? Rakshas is somehow even creepier than the normal apostle. Erica then frantically runs into the area worried for Rickert, and the apostle seeing this takes the opportunity and grabs her, making things go from bad to the worst. Then, all of a sudden, Rakshas is covered in snakes. They numb him and Erica is dropped into the arms of Daiba the Dark Mage. He has now paid Rickert back, and now he wants to ask the Bakiraka if he can join them. He feels out of place in this new world. The Bakiraka recognize him, and Salat asks Rickert what they should do, and Rickert, knowing he'll need the hands, accepts his help. With that, Daiba summons a sea of snakes and rats to attack the apostle, before he summons pterodactyl-like familiars to take everyone out of the city. They're leaving, but Daiba left the girls and Luca a gift, a pouch full of diamonds, a repayment for the last day's chaos. Yet even then, Rakshas explodes into an even bigger mass, appearing like a rising sea of black as he chases them. Rickert then takes a rocket launcher into his arms, firing it to blow the apostle back seemingly for good. They take to the skies onto their journey as the girls watch, and of course Griffith too watches, silently in the moonlight. Like I had said earlier, Berserk sets this place up to be perfect, a utopia. Rickert is our way to see this place from the eyes of someone who knows Griffith, who knows what Griffith has done. While we have Erica to see the eyes of a normal person who is just coming to this city to thrive. And both agree, it's essentially a perfect place. Though the perspective is very important to note here. Rickert, who knows what it was built on top of, can't accept it. Sure, in every way Falconia is perfect, it's a utopia. It's a place for human prosperity, and it's surely going to set humanity forward for a time to come. But you must understand, this is all for the human world, and the one who runs it is a demon king. Rickert is reminding us of this. That while yes, what Griffith did technically can be seen as something a human can do, he himself is not a human. And he reminds us that likely if people actually knew this truth, that he was a demon, they would not be able to accept it. And so, Rickert pretty much answers the question this arc is trying to ask, telling us, no, it's not acceptable. Griffith's kingdom is a sham, one built on a huge lie of who he is. It's a kingdom being built under an illusion, and it's one that will surely fall alongside this illusion. The waves crashes from the top of the ship. Ishidro and Puck yell, "That's it! Elfhelm, Skellig Island!" The ship rides the waves as they admire the view before them. They've actually made it. The end of their journey is now actually before them. This is big. Guts is in awe. They finally got here. Safe and sound too. He says he doesn't know what would have happened without everyone. All he can do is fight. Healing, looking after Kaska, everyone else was doing things he could never handle. Thank you. Guts can tell he's changed, and it's for this journey, one for Kaska, that has changed him. Their warmth, the warmth of others, has always been important to Guts, yet after the eclipse he thought he'd never have this again. Guts has proved to himself that even in the most horrific situations, you can heal, and the key to that healing is others. They rowed ashore and Isma decides to stay with everyone, saying goodbye to her mother as she gives her a way to call her. They're all reminded about how time flows differently on this island. It moves slower here as it's cut off from the outside world, and this statement leaves Farnese with a question, one she can't bear to ask. After Guts brings Kaska here, will he leave? And you can tell by his face, even he doesn't know. As they make it past the shore and onto grassland, they find all sorts of stones. Familiar stones. Shirka can tell they're a barrier to confuse and turn away trespassers, though they have a handy solution: Puck. They tie him to a stick and have him lead the way. Since he came from here, the barrier doesn't work on him. Now past the barrier, they face a field of scarecrows. But they're not ordinary. They attack quickly, Guts chopping one clean to bits as he readies to fight them off. Everyone battles against these defenders, all as we begin to see witches who've prepared these defenses. The pumpkins in this patch then come alive, and while they expected defenses on a magical island, specifically magical defenses, nobody expected them to be so brutal and non-stop. Shirka then completes a spell, freezing all enemies before they explode. She noticed that the spell placed here was with earth spirits, so she simply modified it to win the battle. The witches who messed with this field are watching surprised that they all made it through the defenses, but there's still another part of their grand welcome. They stand before a fire giant, a wicker man, a magic fetish using the life force of Locke's sacrifices and setting them ablaze using ancient magic. Again, brutal seeming defenses for a seemingly peaceful magic island. And the witches confirm this is extreme, as one even calls it a taboo. Yet the witch who put this on, Morda, couldn't care less. The Wicker Man rains down fire onto the field. It burns everything to a crisp and leaves everyone in worry. But like always, Guts has fought worse. He fires his cannon and brings it to its knees, before jumping up and cleaving its head in two. Guess that was enough to beat it, though the witch Morda then appears before them. Now they can't escape. The flames will surround them. The other witches appear worried, all as the field is covered in endless rain. It's magic manipulation of the weather, and here comes the mage who did it. He introduces himself. He's an elder mage who governs the mages of the island. He states he knew they would come. They received an oracle, Shirka assuming that to be the Moonlight Boy. The mage then reveals it was an old friend in a dream, saying look after her dearest student when she visits. It was Flora who told them. The mage then invites them into the village. It would seem he knows everything. And all Shirka can say is, that's just how it is with great mages. The skies then clear and sun shines through as they begin a new magical part of their journey. Hopefully, the final part of their journey. They finally make it to their destination. And amongst thoughts of the journey finally being done, what Guts is going to do next, it would seem Elfhelm is on high alert. This is even more interesting when you consider the idea they knew the group was coming. And while yes, some of it was just witches being kids, whatever, the point still stands that they were defenses, and they were hard defenses to push through. And I can only conclude this is because of one thing, the world merger. As we've seen now, everywhere is pretty much getting even more dangerous and unstable. I assume this too is happening around or even to Elfhelm. So while we've spent the whole story believing this is a safe place, how can we be so sure that it's truly going to be? The inner workings of the island are mystical, the scene reminding me a lot of when they first met Flora. Which makes sense, she was a witch. Here, they're scared by moving trees, they know Guts' quest and brand, and of course we hear that there's a being who can go deep inside the mind. There's a chance Kaska could return here. His hope is becoming even more alive, which makes Guts smile, a rare sight. They then speak of the world merger, or as they call it, the great roar of the astral world. The Hawk of Light caused it and attacked the many seals of the world forest of the spirit tree. But more on that soon. They want to reach the village first, which is now on the horizon, sitting under a beautiful cherry tree. Inside the village, it's just like Flora's home. Each home is a treehouse-like home that resembles witch hats. Just like Shirka, in these little witch hat homes, students are taught and hone magic, all to research and help others research magic. Something Morda instantly voices her opinion about. Magic skills aren't much if they just stay cooped up on the island. Though with this, our group is brought to the main hall, a huge building full of full-fledged mages, the ones who govern the village. Also, this whole time everyone has been recognizing Puck. Guess they actually love this little dude around here. Guts then finally speaks for the first time since entering. The ruler of the elves, the flower storm monarch they keep mentioning. Can he meet them? The whole journey has been pinned on this hope. It's so close. He needs to know if they can heal Kaska. The elder tells Guts to be patient. You don't want to spoil the person's mood. People are tired, and everyone else is taking in the sights still. And Guts, well, he hates the idea of waiting even longer, but he waits. And, you know, I understand it. He's being rude, but like, Kaska is everything to him. Over dinner, they speak of the journey, reaching the topic of the world merger or Great Roar. Guts asking the magic mage to explain it in more detail. First, they must speak of the branches that stretch across the sky. One's left behind when Griffith killed Ganishka. That is the world tree, a figure of legend that is now physically there. What it does is connect the heavens, earth, and the underworld. It penetrates the world and stretches through every layer of the physical and astral world. The mage then explains the concept of paths, like a door that enters into the astral world. Think of like little rat holes all over the world that enter into something greater. He explains large ones, they're called dragon paths, and they reach deep into the astral world. The Beylik Guts holds is one that opens a dragon path. The mage then comments about his Beylik. He wonders if it belongs to him or if he's just carrying it. It's exactly as Flora said. And then, just like when Flora said that, Puck takes it and says it's his. So like then, in that video, I have to wonder here, maybe Puck will summon the God Hand. That would just be hilarious. Shirka then wonders why her mistress's tree was attacked. And this explanation gets hectic fast. So basically, what's said is what we understand. Griffith was working to destroy the barriers between the worlds. With Ganishka, he accomplished that. Flora was just another part of destroying those barriers, magic spots. Though the mage wants to know more about Griffith. Who is he? Why would he want to be reincarnated so bad? What would he come back for and transform the world to gain? Guts looks away. He thought reaching his goal would rid him of his obsession with Griffith. It's another reminder that Guts truly can't let go of it. And so he answers, he's the only person who knows after all. And he says, a kingdom. The mage reflects on the city Griffith has made. It's the only kingdom where people can live in peace and prosperity. Maybe it makes sense to him. But in the moment, everyone is shocked by Guts' reveal. To think his nemesis is the Hawk. To think this random swordsman they all met has this kind of history. It's insane. Ishiro then puts together everything. Guts was in Griffith's band. His hero is part of that band. That must mean his hero, the 100-man Slayer. Guts knew him? Yeah, this idiot still hasn't realized that the 100-man Slayer is Guts. Like, if we don't get a moment by the end of the series where he realizes this, I'm going to riot. Though the mage is surprised by the idea of a kingdom. Having thought on it, he concludes that for a god like him, to change the world just for a kingdom, it's absurd. But Guts corrects him. It's not like that. He doesn't want just a kingdom. With Griffith, it's steps. When he achieves one thing, he goes higher. He will soar up and up. That is Griffith, the Hawk. The kingdom is only the beginning of it all. Guts has been forced to explain everything out loud for the first ever time. And while yes, he did explain it to Rickert, Rickert kinda knew the details, he understood already in a way. What I'm saying, this is the first time Guts has told the story A to Z, and that must feel, well, interesting. It's quite ironic that in a place of light, a place that is meant to signify the end of his journey, Guts is being forced to relive it in a way that he never actually has. Through words, he has to tell other people, he has to keep that memory alive in another person's mind that isn't his. I think it's very interesting that Guts is the only one who truly understands what Griffith is going to do, and he's also the one fighting the hardest to stray away from what Griffith is going to do. It's like fate just keeps dragging them together, playing a sick trick on him. Even when it looks like the end of his journey, Griffith is still getting in the way. Everyone then heads into the forest. It's a place busy with numerous otherworldly beings. It truly is Elfhelm, everything we thought it was going to be, but somehow even more. Again, like Ishidro said with Flora's house, it's like they're in a squirrel's nest. There's so many things all over, and in the face of it all, they just look so small. Hell, like for example, Ishidro and Izma are literally riding unicorns. Though finally they reach that huge cherry tree. This is where the Flower Storm Monarch is, the leader of Elfhelm, and inside it's even more beautiful. I literally can not explain enough how magic is just everywhere. Creatures, visuals, just things. It's awing, it's just beautiful. It's then Puck jumps onto the throne. The Elf King has arrived. He's instantly struck down for treason, and Farnice's brother is taken away for conspiring with him. Let's just let Puck out, but keep the dude in a jail cell. Screw him. It's then one of them special mages from before, the small lady, the housekeeper, removes her hat and transforms, revealing the Elf King is a queen. It's her, and she welcomes them to her Elfhelm, and now fully revealed, the Flower Storm Monarch name perfectly fits her bright pink form. Shirka and Guts can instantly tell by energy alone that this is it. Her pressure is unbelievable, yet comfortable. This really is the ruler of the elves. She then punishes Puck. He complains about how the king is free. They lie around and eat good food, and she's like, dude, you literally already do that. Besides, she probably does more work than him. She cleans up after them all. Her other form was literally just to do that. Also, their kingdom doesn't wither. So, Puck, you wanna be king? Yeah, he switched up real fast. But with this, she introduces herself, her real name being Danan. She's heard their quest, asking Guts, he wishes to restore Kaska? He's shocked at how casually she mentions it. That's possible? She states using something known as the Corridor of Dreams, it likely is. And Guts is relieved, again smiling. Danan then asks for Kaska, Farnice, and Shirka. The ritual will work best with those she's strongly attached to, Farnice being noted to be the biggest attachment. Love that, their bond is so precious. Guts then tries to come, but he's turned down. She senses fear from Kaska for Guts, and he freezes. Shirka then speaks up. It'll be okay. Her and Farnice are both mages. Trust them. And he listens. Yeah, they can take care of Kaska. This speaks volumes of how trusting Guts has become, how much he's healed. This is the make or break moment. Everything they've done is useless if this fails. Yet when he's told he can't do it, where he would have raged before, he trusts them to do it. They are now that capable in his mind. Remember, Guts from before, from the Black Swordsman specifically, his lowest point, wouldn't even speak to Puck. If he did, it was just horrible. When he spoke to a human, he told her to die. He was so afraid of offering up proper emotions, he decided he'd drive her through hate. He was simply afraid of anything with emotions, he ran from them. But here, he uses them to trust his allies. It's a very huge moment. The girls are guided with Kaska towards this corridor of dreams, Danan explaining that it's as it sounds, a corridor into someone's dreams. The idea uses the same property as when delving into the astral world, just in a more mind-focused scape with a lot of rules. They reach the room. It's a huge magic mushroom bed. There's spiritual energy all over that will draw them into a dream state. They lie down and reminisce in unforgettable memories, buried feelings, and the place where everything is gathered. Shirka dreams a silly scene before a door emerges. She runs through. Of course, dreams start silly, and the same then happens to Farnice, imagining everyone is close, even Mazgis, before Shirka appears, pulling Farnice away and into Kaska's dream. In Kaska's dream, it also starts a bit all over the place. Things are scratchy and random, but it makes sense because of her shallow consciousness. They just had to dive deeper. They follow Kaska as she follows Danan's cherry petals. One's meant to guide, and before they know it, they reach an eclipsed sky. This is Kaska's dream, the depths of her very being, a wasteland full of nothing but darkness, all eclipsed by a black sun. Obviously, this is a site of the eclipse, endless darkness before a blacked out sky. It makes sense, as with this very event, her mind broke. Their goal is to find Kaska as she exists in this world. They're waiting for a sign that will surely show them the way, and this is when they spot a hound dragging a casket along. The dog is impaled, sickly, missing an arm, and by all definitions, beat down. The casket is unable to do anything by itself, and it's crowned by the Band of the Hawk crest. It's then the two watch the dog defend the casket against winged creatures. The girls jump in to help, and while Farnese worries, Shirka confirms the obvious. This is Guts in this world. It even has the brand. This is a representation of Guts protecting Kaska in the real world. She can't move / be herself at all. Her memories were sealed away in a casket alongside the Band of the Hawk. Guts drags her along at his side, tired and beaten down. The journey with her destroys him, and he's forced by a caller to continue on, similar to how he has felt many times, fighting the beasts of darkness to stay on this journey. The dark angel-like creatures that attack, they're the God Hand. Notice how there's 4 of them though. They're missing Griffith. Remember that, as for sure he is coming back soon enough. With this, the girls open the casket, finding this broken doll, yet one that is evidently Kaska by the brand on his chest. She's broken, her pieces scattered, and the only thing that reminds us this is her horrific tie to demon kind. Though inside the doll they find a very tiny Kaska. It's a fragment of herself. It's just like the Kaska they know. And like that Kaska, she takes to Farnese. The girls then understand what must be done. They must find the pieces and put the doll back together. And so they travel alongside the beast that resembles Guts. Back in the real world, the men of our crew sit and share a drink. Guts is distressed, but Roderick soothes him. Leave it to the others. Isn't that what this journey was for? Others? Guts for Kaska, Serpico for Farnese, and Roderick also for Farnese. Guts reflects on how this journey has taught him a lot. On his own, he could deal with it all, but with Kaska, his sword got heavy. He couldn't handle it all on his own, and so he set aside his own ways and accepted help. He thanks them. Thank you for being that help, which is growth, and I love it. Serpico also reflects. Him and Farnese served God and had relatively peaceful days, but then Guts came and reduced it all to ash. Farnese became obsessed with him, and Serpico, following Farnese, had to follow. What Guts did was change her, help her, and gave her the chance to finally grow, something Serpico thought impossible. Guts has breathed life into her. He is proud Farnese has learned to stand on her own, and Kaska is the reason. They should trust that bond. With this and Roderick's talk of drink, Guts looks to the cherry tree, remembering the line, "There's no guarantee his wish will be her wish." Inside the dream, they brave the elements. The deeper they go, the rougher it gets. But finally, they find a campfire, one that begins to show a vision. It's Guts. It's a memory. The memory being the campfire of dreams. Farnese and Shirka are surprised to see a much younger Guts, and from the memory they receive feelings. Bittersweet, tender feelings. Kaska feels strange in this moment, and with this memory's conclusion, they receive a piece of the doll. Mini Kaska is very happy about this, and the hound Guts instantly puts the piece right where it needs to go. No effort, he just knew. This is a showcase of how important Kaska is to Guts. She's a puzzle to the girls, a broken doll they'll never figure out how to put together. But it's a puzzle Guts has never forgot. With this, they've discovered the rule for the dream. To fix Kaska, they must find all the pieces and repair the doll. But I bet it won't be just that easy. The wing beasts then come back, Shirka checking her bag to find things from her own weird dream. They work here. She summons a golem and a flame wheel, them fighting off the beasts in a spectacular fashion, something that would literally happen in a dream. They then find a sword and helmet. It's showing another memory, one of an even younger Guts. This is where Guts met Kaska, when they fought for the first time and Kaska almost died. They go on. They receive a memory of a won battle, Kaska having feelings of satisfaction and happiness. Happiness at completing her duty. She was a soldier after all. They then find a different sword, it showcasing the memory of Griffith finding Kaska, where Kaska took the sword and saw Griffith as a person who gave her life, changing everything for her. Very similar to how Farnese feels for Guts. Things then begin to change, and by change, well, it's Kaska's feelings. Next, they find a scene where Griffith became a general, but here, Kaska feels an ache, a trace of loneliness. They then view the scene of Guts and Kaska in the cave. Kaska is angry and jealous, yet she watches as Guts completes the 100-man slaying, and this feeling changes. Next is the duel. Guts beats Griffith, and Kaska's upset she can't come between them. She's so sad her heart wants to split in two, and as she stares at Guts leaving, Farnese suspects this feeling of Kaska's is one of longing. Finally, they find a waterfall falling from the sky. It's Kaska and Guts' duel before she falls from the cliff, Guts saving her before they make love. Farnese covers Shirka's eyes thankfully, but it confirms everything. This is how it is for Guts. He loves her. Kaska truly is his woman, and Farnese has known from the start. In this moment, there was affection and sorrow. Everything in Farnese's heart is now Kaska's feelings. While heavy, even if it affects her, they must continue under this gloomy landscape. The mini Kaska sticks to Farnese, and with all these memories, the doll is nearly complete. It's been ages, the time passing in dreams is weird, but with this, the final frontier is before them. The final memories are in a dark cloud, tremendously dark energy. In there is what shattered Kaska's mind. They have no idea what it is, but we know that this must be that. Farnese looks to mini Kaska, who is shaking, terrified. Though surprisingly, she speaks. There's someone she wants to see. They put together that it's Guts, and so they affirm that they'll make it happen as they take the final, long steps. So this event is very heavy, and I did want to really quick interject as kind of a break and to highlight something that I think was really cool that Miura did here. Here we view a series of memories, we see them over and over, and the one that reacts to them and the view we see them through is Farnese's. She reacts to and feels every single emotion relating to every event of Kaska's life, and as we've seen, it's a lot. Farnese though, I have to say, is the perfect one to do this. I would probably be upset if it was anyone else. Her and Kaska have gotten so close, if it was going to be anybody, I feel like Kaska would trust her to see these things. And it's just a very big statement to their relationship. Kaska saved Farnese in every way, so it's time for Farnese to save Kaska. And I just love that that has become a thing. The darkness is nauseating to the girls. Still, they must continue to the summit. They can't help but remark how gruesome this is. The idea of an event this traumatic, an event capable of creating a place like this happening, it's understandable why Kaska's mind is broken, to say the least. They're then attacked by things I'm just not going to show because YouTube wouldn't like it. They represent genitalia and spit out water. This being a clear representation of the many times Kaska has been attempted to and has successfully been assaulted. Their size is far bigger than Kaska and any of them there. It's to show how disadvantaged Kaska feels by their size and numbers, which is also very representative of her being a woman in a male-dominated world. Shirka then uses everything she has to fight off the creatures, though it's just not enough. They resort to running, but everything looks dire. This is when Farnese frantically tosses something from her bag. It's the Mazga's head. It drops down and acts as a wall blocking the creatures. It throws out chains and chews monsters to bits. Still, the girls must continue on, even if the world gets worse with every step they take. Finally, they reach the summit, a never-ending mass of black darkness right before the eclipsed sun. The final fragment? It's in the center and now visible. Farnese grasps the scared and shaking little Kaska. It's a bit farther. They can do it. It's then a dark bird covers the sky. They have no idea what it is, but of course, we know this is a falcon. It's Griffith. Proved as Guts instantly barks at it. The falcon dives in quick and instantly rips the golems to shreds. The energy it leaves behind begins to take shape, appearing as demon-like beings, like it's created apostles, exactly what the God Hand do. Realizing they're gonna need to push through, Shirka summons everything she has. They try their best, but the falcon swoops down and drops the casket from the sky. They all panic, and Farnese finds the Serpico cloak just in time, using it to thankfully save them. Still, the falcon continues to attack. Guts is torn to shreds as the familiars are overpowered and cornered. It's then Farnese's pouch opens up and the Berserker armor flies to the Guts hound. It instantly activates and turns him into the Berserker. And like the real thing, its power is unreal, slicing everything clean in two before howling to the sky. It's time for the real fight. The Griffith Falcon and the Berserk Guts Hound engage in battle. He shoots his cannon and reveals Griffith's eye, before their blades and talons clash to send them both back. It's the distraction needed to carry the casket up the mast. With the golem's help, they make a break for it, yet it's just not enough. It's then Shirka hears a voice telling her she has one thing left. Her hat flies into the sky, and from it comes Flora. She reminds her student that she said they'd meet in dreams, and now she'll bless them. She takes the form of flames and incinerates the battlefield. There's no way they can't make it to the final fragment now. They make it to the top, lift the casket up, and inside is the baby demon fetus. It's Kaska's corrupted child. They have no idea what this means, but they know that when they touch it, they will without doubt see the hellish memory that made Kaska who she is. And so, Shirka begins. The eclipse, a scene worse than hell itself, plays out to them. It's a vortex of dark, incomprehensible emotions. They see everything. The emotions threaten to take everything they have. And with this, it's clear what broke Kaska. They find themselves before a thorned heart. If they return this final fragment, it will bring Kaska back. But the thorns illustrate the obvious. Kaska might not wish to remember. This is exactly what Skull Knight meant. Their wish, Guts' wish, might not be her wish. These memories may be too harmful for Kaska. Is she actually ready to be herself again? It's then the falcon crashes in from the sky, threatening to destroy the heart, but Guts stops it, ripping the falcon away and giving the girls one final chance. The scene shows the obvious. The memories are so horrific, Kaska dreams of them being destroyed. Her heart is in thorns, she doesn't want to remember. But Guts jumps in to stop it. Even if everything is horrible, even if he isn't right there to unravel the memories, he will protect her from anything. Farnese then takes the mini Kaska into her hands. She understands better than everyone how it is to be helpless, how it feels to cower, and how it feels not being able to do anything on your own. And so, like Guts did for her, she'll help Kaska drive away the darkness. She refuses to let this journey be for nothing. She moves quickly, taking the pain, thorn heart, and placing it inside the doll. Everything dark before them disappears, and the doll appears complete. Finally, the mini Kaska returns to the doll. The fractured Kaska is ready to return to her complete self. She goes into the brand as Farnese watches. She's sure that she'll now get to see Guts. Kaska wakes alongside everyone, facing Danan. It has been a mere day in the world, yet they've been a part of a multi-month long journey. Kaska then speaks. She remembers them. That girl, Elaine. Everything she saw and felt is inside her. It's good to meet them. Thank you for taking care of her as Elaine for so long. Also, she's calling her time as her fractured self, Elaine. Elaine is what Luca and the girls called her during the conviction arc. It was the first name she was called that wasn't Kaska during this time period, so that's just what she refers to it as. Everyone is shocked by this. Shirka is amazed. This is the true Kaska. She can tell by her energy that everything is completely different. It's clear that the Kaska they knew, and that the Kaska from before was different. And so Shirka asks, how is her memory? Kaska reflects. She saw her time as Elaine as if it was a dream. There were no thoughts or feelings. It was as if she was watching through a veil of darkness. Matter of fact, it's actually kinda weird for them to be in front of her. It's like her dreams have come to life. She then states that when she went to sleep is what's muddied. She remembers setting out to rescue Griffith, but that's it. Everything from then on just doesn't exist. Farnese then asks if she remembers Guts, and all Kaska can do is cry with the look of happy longing. Her answer is clear to them all. Danan, also understanding everything, knowing Kaska is meant to reunite with the one dear to her, gives her an elegant, beautiful outfit, as if she was a dark elf princess. It's time for her and Guts to meet. She steps from the tree as Guts treks closer. She reflects on her memories, those sad beloved days. They're what makes her Kaska. Then, she has her days as Elaine, the days where she looked up from below the water. But there was always a faint voice, telling her there's someone she wants to see. She can now see him. She faces Guts, the sun faintly shining over the hill as they meet. She begins to walk towards him, her eyes open fully in excitement. Kaska screams a piercing scream of death, and she falls, blacking the scene out. God, despite it being like the 5th time I've read this scene, it always gets to me in the worst ways. For me, this is even harder to read through than the Eclipse, as while the Eclipse had build-up, this has had like 300 chapters worth of build-up. There's so much pain for every character involved this far down the road. Though what hits me the hardest is that this whole time, we have seen Guts' pain, we have seen Serpico's pain, we have seen Farnese's pain, but we've never actually seen Kaska's pain till now. Everything she's ever felt and knows is kept away from us until here, and somehow Miura has portrayed it in a way that is even more haunting than I ever thought it was. Kaska's mind is fractured beyond belief, and it being represented by a child's doll shows us that she's mentally a child, which makes everything she's been through since the Eclipse just feel terrible. Miura took his time to show us some major pieces and moments of who Kaska is, feeling the emotion, seeing the scenes from her eyes, and finally viewing how much they manifest in her mind. It's so much harder with this slow pace. It makes everything feel grand and just much heavier. This alongside the comments of how they've trekked this dream for potentially months, well, it's a great showcase of how trauma can be. It's dark, overpowering, and slow to overcome. All to say, Miura did a beautiful job finally paying Kaska's character off and giving us this moment after 200 chapters of her being so regressed. She has begun to move past her trauma. It's not about deleting it from everything, it's about moving past and accepting it. I like that that's a big part of it, but the big point is, it's nice to finally see that she's going to be herself. Though when everything finally comes back, they finally complete the journey. Kaska runs to see Guts. She breaks. The thorns around her heart still exist, and they say she's not ready to face the Eclipse and everything around it. Guts and Griffith are especially hard to deal with, because without a doubt, these two are the ones who've changed her life the most. This just breaks my heart. We make it. We're in a better place than we've ever been. But then, we're placed in an albeit better, but horrible, still feeling situation. Well, Guts has completed his journey in a way. A whole different one is beginning for Kaska, and as we can see, it's going to involve a lot of pain. She has opened and accepted everything she's been through. She's opened the doors to all these horrific memories, but her heart is still covered in thorns. It's still closed off, and she'll need to work through all of that, and all that feels horrible to see. Picking up as giants roam the lands. This is normal for us now. But something odd is happening to these beings. In the distance is Griffith and his army. He sends his sword forward. This war we've just stumbled upon, beginning with an all-out chaos. The Lancers dive in alongside Griffith, Sonya watching from afar and using her medium powers to warn of surprise threats, all before finding the enemy leader and revealing them to Griffith. A Hydra then appears, Zod jumping in for blood before it grabs him, yet he wrings the snake's head out as Irvine fires from afar. Grunbeld then appears in his crystal dragon form, summoning a blast of flame and incinerating the foe, now allowing Griffith to jump from his back and dive straight into the giant king, killing him and winning the war in one strike. He asks Sonya to show everyone what he views, his slaying of the king of the Jotnar, and like that, victory is achieved. Griffith standing in the light as he collects the souls of the fallen, the sight still leaving his men in awe. Griffith then reveals why they came here, to solve a problem. He asks Grunbeld to unearth something for him and use it to build a row of stone corridors. They walk through the corridors, and they're in the sky. Griffith has found a way to walk amongst the world tree. In a second they arrive back to Falconia, it being so fast none can believe it, shouting that Griffith has created a new legend. Sonya responds to this bitterly. Being with Griffith means having part in a huge legend in itself. And of course, everyone speaks of the possibilities of this new transportation, but it's revealed only Griffith and Sonya can travel on the branches, and only them can allow others in. And due to Griffith praising Sonya, it seems it's mainly due to her abilities. Just unbelievable though. Like Guts had said earlier, Griffith will keep striving higher. The kingdom is never the end. We then cut to the city's inner hall, the site of politics as Locust reports on the Hawks' latest victories. They speak of the kingdom's future, and things heat up when a proposal to establish an orphanage is found. It's Charlotte's. They try and say it can't be afforded, but Griffith instantly states they should do it. Take the loot from the giants. They can't cope with problems. They must build anew to prosper. He goes further. After orphanages, government should play a part in education. He continues down the line, and it's basically all to say, they cannot continue to build what they know. They must pave new ways. That is the route to prosperity. The prosperity Griffith believes will be achieved by putting people first. Which does make sense for his character. It makes them look the best, treating his people the best. But this is also because, well, they're the best things for him to use time and time again. People are convenient puppets. Finally, Griffith ends his speech by telling the legend of King Gaisric, who formed a great empire across the entire continent. They should too establish a great empire, humanity's realm, a second empire. Also, real quick, it's interesting they bring up King Gaisric here. Just remember that for some reason Miura wanted to remind us of this mythical king. He wanted to remind us in this specific moment. But once this meeting ends, everyone goes their separate ways. Sonya tries to find Griffith after, who's next to Charlotte. She's happy he supported her orphanage idea, him explaining that a kingdom needs to be a good parent, so the children want to support the kingdom once they're independent. Charlotte has an idea to plant flowers in orphanages, and Griffith calls her the mother of the kingdom. Charlotte happy calling Griffith the father of the kingdom. Sonya then wants to get in the middle of them, but Mule stops her. Him and Charlotte don't get enough time together, and so she storms off like an annoying child. We then cut away to that night, before a full moon, and at Charlotte's sleeping side, Griffith sits in the window. He can feel something. He's sure it's tonight, saying it before he poofs into thin air right before the full moon. This confirms everything. Griffith looks to the World Tree. The last time we saw the Moonlight Boy, he was on the World Tree in a full moon. The event we know allows the boy to take over his body. Confirming this isn't really the big thing though. What is that Griffith acknowledges it. He can tell that something is happening, which is scary to think about. It's even scarier now that we've seen he has the ability to walk across the World Tree branches himself. He can go pretty much anywhere in quicker than ever before. It all leads to a series of very uncomfortable ideas, all saying, this could be very bad. We return to Elfhelm as Kaska gets a haircut, a nostalgic outfit, and of course, a sword. She's back to her, and it feels right. This new look shocking everyone. She really was a knight. Kaska then approaches Farnese. She's very grateful to her specifically. Whenever she clung to her, she felt a sense of relief. It was as if she was her mother and sister. And it all just makes Farnese cry. Gotta love this relationship so much. She then thanks Sherka as well, and the girl takes it as she was just doing her job. No worry. They then want to see her sword skills, so Danan brings out some straw warriors, the likes of which Kaska quickly fights, and Kaska cuts down one by one in a very quick fashion. She's amazing. Kaska then takes the training with Ishidro, all while Farnese and Sherka find the one person missing from this all, Guts. They ask, he won't speak with her? He states not yet. This will do for now. He doesn't want to hurt her even more. Danan then approaches. The problem is Kaska's right now. Will she face him, or will she wait for time to heal? No matter how horrific the wound, Kaska now has a choice to at least choose. And it's all thanks to Sherka and Farnese. Farnese thinks on this choice. She returned Kaska's heart. She was sure she'd see Guts. She's sure she'll face him. And Farnese is here for her. At the same time, Kaska approaches and speaks to Guts on the other side of the tree. Listen, just listen. He's got a lot of good companions. Ishidro's taken to him. Crazy to think the Guts she knew can have an apprentice. She comments on how he's actually a lot like him. Ishidro also somewhat reminds her of Judo. Judo. His name sends a shockwave of memories through her. Horrific, disparaging memories. And again, her mind falls apart as she hits the ground. Guts panics and rounds the tree, and all she can see in him is a wave of darkness, demonkind, and despair. She screams and Guts leaves, Farnese ending the scene by saying, they still can't see one another. Kaska wants to see Guts. She isn't running from that, yet it would seem her mind is just not yet ready. It's broken and everything triggers memories from that time. Memories time has not yet healed her from. In the background, a single being watches, Skull Knight, telling us this too is another step of Guts' dark fate as a Berserker. Everyone brings Kaska to bed. She breaks down over not being able to move past that place. His face, voice, she can't handle Guts. The shadow gets in the way every time. Danan puts her to sleep, her saying she'll keep an eye on her. And as Farnese begins to walk away, Kaska in her sleep holds on to her. She feels safe with her. Farnese is like a security blanket to her. It's then time for Farnese and Sherka to show their skills amongst the other mages in training. Farnese looking perfect in official witch getup. It's like it was meant to be. First up is Farnese, her doing the formation of the Four, the protection spell against otherworldly, a sight that makes the other witches in training look down on her. Farnese isn't even trying to use a magic circle or wand. That's a basic trick, it'll fail. Yet then, Farnese enacts a barrier far bigger than any of them expected, and she did it without those things, and again, she's only been learning for 3 months as an adult. Yeah, she shuts them up pretty fast, they deserved it, and good on her. I love Farnese. Next up is Sherka. She'll call it Darkness Spirit, her entering the luminous body quickly. She calls the spirit out with ease, it tormenting the spirits for a second before Sherka disperses it. Again, all are surprised. She is beyond amazing. With this, they've all proved themselves, and so Farnese asks, can she be taught healing magic? Specifically, ways to heal the mind. She wants to help Kaska. Danan then steps up. She can help her with that. She'll personally teach her. Sherka is then asked if she'd like to communicate with daimons rather than spirits. Daimons are spirits of a deeper domain, some of which were once humans. The mage reminding her of her mistress, Flora has gone on to be a daimon now, and so Sherka quickly accepts. It's perfect, they've both found a perfect place. All this occurs as Guts brings himself as far away on the outskirts of the island as possible and begins to train. He doesn't want to be near any of it and can only question what should he do. Skull Knight then approaches. The end of the journey isn't necessarily beautiful. They face each other, perfect for Guts. He needs a bit of guidance right now, even if he won't admit it. They reflect on the warning from before and how Guts made it here in one piece. Yet Skull Knight warns causality has yet to converge. Fate has yet to make its way. It's then the old mage reappears, speaking to Skull Knight with familiarity, and it would seem Skull Knight knew his father, reminding us that this dude has been around for a very long time. They then speak of Guts' armor. Why don't they visit Hanar, the one who made it? We cut away to Shirka learning to fly a broom. It's something she actually struggles with, and this is when Morta drops down on her own broom and takes Shirka for a ride. She tries to teach her with the experience. Well, more accurately, she's kinda also teasing her, and she felt a way seeing Shirka be good at magic. Still, Morta does mean well, opening her eyes to show her how beautiful the world is from above. Morta is kind of an oddity, as she's the only one of these other witches to really be given a big personality, and I believe it's to show both sides of the coin when it comes to these witches. While everyone we've seen is very traditional, they practice and they research magic on this island, Elfhelm, Morta believes that they aren't applying magic correctly. She believes that going outside Elfhelm and applying and learning magic that way is what they should do. So seeing Shirka, someone who is doing that, something she wants to do, is bittersweet for her. That's why she's kind of mean to her. Shirka is also the only one who understands what she wants, so it kinda also gives her a reason to want to get close. Hence this weird, awkward, but ultimately helpful moment. Though the two then spot Guts, Skull Knight, and the Elder Mage, so of course they want to check out what they're doing. In the process, Morta shows a very different part of the island, one filled with a bit more less appealing magical creatures, including the Wicker Men, creatures revealed to be a product of an attack. Enemies who once attacked Elfhelm were sacrificed to make these, and they were used to push back the remaining attackers. They're a reminder of how witches were once so feared, but now they stay in Elfhelm all peaceful-like. It's then they find Morta's mistress, Vol, an expert in curses and necromancy. She's a witch with a very bad reputation. Upon hearing Shirka's a student of Flora's, she's surprised. But she tells him where Guts and Koev went, and as they go off, Vol is in deep thought. Flora, Skull Knight, the old man's dreams are coming to pass, telling us something's about to happen, all as she looks very concerned. Now close, they watch the trio reach Hanar, a dwarven blacksmith that reminds Guts of Godo. He's surprised to see Skull Knight, referring to him as the king. Remember, we just heard of King Gaidric and how old Skull Knight is. And it's revealed this blacksmith crafted his armor, as well as the Berserker armor. He never thought he'd see it again, and Guts thanks him for the armor, and like Skull Knight, he warns that using it and mastering it isn't the same. It wants to consume Guts. He then states he'll give it a go, taking a hammer and smashing it into it. It activates, quickly overtaking Guts and crowning him as the Berserker with ease. He unleashes its power with full force, yet it's then Hanar hits a wall and chains emerge to hold Guts in place. Hanar states he's going to give Guts a look at the bloody memories of this armor, how it consumed its former owner. He hits it once more. A vision of an eclipse, an incomprehensible image of a vortex with 5 figures in the background. Otherworldly emerge and rip everything to shreds before the being watching. Nothing but blood remains. The God Hands stand at the end. 5 of them. This had to have been forever ago, as no member remains except Void, the leader. Guts views the memories and breaks the chains, still seeing what the armor saw. The person who originally used it had armor like a skeleton and a woman in arms. A woman of royalty and brightness, one who had been branded in this eclipse. As the woman lies back, seemingly dead, the armor views one thing, a burning brand of sacrifice over the land. Shirka jumps onto Guts, pulling back the armor and bringing him back to his senses. Guts thanks her, but he's clearly out of it. Now looking up at Skull Knight, concluding what we've concluded. The knight, knowing that we know the truth, then states, "What was witnessed was the end of a once foolish king and the beginning of a wraith wandering through an endless night." As they walk through Elfhelm, Guts puts it together. There was an eclipse, Skull Knight is just like him? It's then revealed the place they stand is where Skull Knight's former lover lies buried. Danan then approaches, Sherka realizing that she looks just like the woman in those memories, going as far to note she's the very image of her. Guts can even see it. Danan then specifically transforms into her magical form and looks to Skull Knight, him saying he is a harbinger of calamity, a ruin of love and hate, bound by one place, he cannot bask in the afterglow of bygone days. Finally, to end the scene, Sherka asks what is the connection between her mistress and everything they've just seen. The Elder Mage revealing, Flora served that woman. They were very attached, but too attached. After that day, an eclipse shined upon the world. Flora violated a taboo and was banished. So what a moment. Without a doubt, I think we just saw Skull Knight's backstory, or at least a very big chunk of it, as well as the downfall of King Gaisric, the ancient king who ruled an empire over Midland. What we saw here was obvious. There was an eclipse, a kingdom was sacrificed, Skull Knight became, King Gaisric became Skull Knight, becoming a berserker like Guts, a wraith in the night. But most of all, his lover was taken. This leaves us with so many questions we honestly don't have answers to, but well, we do have enough to make some assumptions. And this event seemed to focus on one person, that woman, his lover. I think we are given just enough to perhaps make a guess at who or what this might be. Sherka and Guts are intentionally shown noticing Danan is the spitting image of this woman that Skull Knight loved. The knight then goes on to say he has no desire to bask in the afterglow of bygone days, a statement he only speaks after seeing Danan, the implication being, in some way Danan is a reminder of those bygone days, yet she herself doesn't acknowledge, doesn't seem, or doesn't care for this. Sherka then speaks of Flora, us learning that after this eclipse, she took her very strong feelings and committed a taboo. From here, I offer a simple idea. What if Danan was that woman? This woman who is very connected to Skull Knight and Flora. And so, not wanting to miss and lose this woman, Flora committed some sort of magic taboo to bring this woman back to life. Of course, magic like this just can't exist, and I think that's why Danan has no idea who Skull Knight is and is almost like connected to him but not. It also would explain why Skull Knight said he can't long for anything, those days are over. I personally really like this idea because it also mimics what Guts is currently going through. Kaska is his lover that he doesn't seem like he can have right now. Fate is pushing her away from him. Though this is just an idea based on everything we were given. Even now, years later, we have no idea what the implications of this backstory and what it was trying to tell. We just don't know yet. With all this heavy stuff, we finally get another silly scene. Everyone being reminded of how magical and peaceful this area is. It's so nice they can just sit and laugh with no worry. But it leaves Sherka with thoughts. This is a paradise for magic users. It's the sunshine at the end of their journey. But why did Flora leave? What taboo did she violate? It's like the story is trying to say it isn't over. There's still questions we need answered. We cut to Guts, him in a similar moment, him staring to the moon as he speaks of Skull Knight, the Elder Mage telling him that he's only pushed by deep love, hate, and fury. The only reason he pays mind to Guts is that he sees himself in him. Guts dislikes this. He has no right to constantly appear and criticize him. And the mage states, well then, that's all the more reason to decide for yourself. Decide whether your own hate will consume him like Skull Knight, or if it'll breathe new life into him. And all he can think of is Kaska far off in the distance. Guts trains and laughs. All that stuff was said, but here all he can do is nap and swing his sword. He thinks of Griffith and stops. He knows there is truth to what was said even if he avoids it. The wind whirs. From the dark, a figure emerges, and as the moon is uncovered by the clouds, the Moonlight Boy appears, exactly on cue. Guts is surprised and the boy jumps right on his back. He brings him to the others. Shirka instantly thinking again is Tanan, but then the woman appears, saying, I don't know who this kid is. Who is he? Guts then has the boy brought to Kaska, and we watch a montage of them having happy, fun moments. Tanan stating that he is a very magical energy. He must have no ill will since he entered the island. Like all of them, the boy here has been accepted as good. And it would seem, since the boy appears to have a very strong bond with Kaska and Guts, that's what led him here. This scene is again very happy, almost in complete ignorance to the fact we watched Griffith disappear at the same time this boy appeared. His presence is built to be so good, so magical, and just bright for a cast, but we know as the reader, part of him is this demonic evil, but we don't quite know how it connects. Again, the night continues with silly moments involving the boy, literally anything you could think of. The concluding thought being it's like a family. Guts trains far off, and the boy bothers him even here. I love this small scene, because like a son, well, he's gonna be interested in what his dad's doing, his armor, tools. But Guts, knowing Kaska needs anything to feel better right now, he urges him to go be with his mother, something Kaska really needs. With the boy around her, she explains it is feeling natural, it's right. She then reflects on meeting the boy. She felt affection and sadness. But sadness from where? She views herself holding the demon fetus. It shocks her to the core. Another memory is resurfaced. She wakes up to find the boy gone, looking outside of the window to find Guts in the same situation as her. The boy had gotten up and ran off, now speaking as it begins to change. I was dreaming. On nights of the full moon, I'd become a small child and find myself embraced by nostalgic warmth. But when I wake from the dream, all that remains is a faint sense of loneliness. That too soon fades away, along with a single tear, like morning dew. The boy is transformed into Griffith, him standing under the cherry tree with a single tear, all before Guts and Kaska. And with this page, it would be the last the late Kentaro Miura drew. He passed away soon after, and this chapter would be released a couple months later. Rest in peace to a legend. And to ease the tension and just uncomfort at such an idea, such a tragedy, I want to tell you the only thing I wrote in my notes as I was taking notes during my reread for this section, for this chapter 364. All I wrote was, fuck. So, yeah, I wasn't doing very good. Griffith indeed is the Moonlight Boy, and he offers up a perfect explanation for how that was for him. In the same way Kaska saw everything through a weird, hazy lens full of emotion, Griffith did too. On nights of a full moon, he'd dream of being a child embraced by nostalgic emotions, and it would seem as it happened continuously, he wasn't quite sure what to make of it. He knew those feelings existed in his body, he knew that he was dreaming, and it would almost seem that the tear, waking up with a face full of tears, is what indeed confirmed that it was a real thing happening to him. Here, that has occurred. Griffith has woken up from his dream as the Moonlight Boy. Though rather than it be in his kingdom like normal, it's before everyone in Elfhelm. I can only assume this is because they're in Elfhelm. It's mentioned many times throughout this visit that time moves differently, time is different, and that also explains why it felt like they were with the Moonlight Boy for days rather than a few moments. The boy this time ran out of time and Griffith came back. Alternatively, Griffith may have figured out and found a way to interject in the Moonlight Boy what he was doing. He may have waited for the group to reach Elfhelm and take his chance to get there. After all, the place was protected against beings like him. We know Griffith wants to conquer more, well, Elfhelm's just another step. Regardless, this is where we leave off for now, a tragic, bitter place to leave off on. The peace they had in Elfhelm was an illusion, and with the illusion ripped away, it revealed the one thing they didn't want to see, Griffith. This end is really hard for me for the same reasons it is for everyone else. I was a longtime Berserk fan. I grew up with the series and I was excited for updates related to it. I was here through some of the hiatuses, etc. And so, ending another hiatus and getting that news felt horrible. I'm not gonna get into all that because that's not what I want this video to be. It's not a soppy video. But from here, they would announce the series was coming back, all that. But me personally, I just didn't want to face that. To me, this video series was an excuse to finally read the new 20 or so chapters Berserk has had in the last few years. And now, with the end of this arc, I'm finally there. It's a very odd feeling and I don't really want to get into it. But so, for now, this is the video and next video will be the final part of this series. Here though, is where the Berserk Miura had a written, drawn part of ends. Everything from here on is made of notes, things he said, ideas he put out there, and it's weird to know that you won't be overseeing it. But with that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for enjoying my deep dive into this big arc. I don't really have much else to say. I'm kind of feeling moody after saying all this, so I'm gonna just end the video. I'll see you in the next one, and the next one will be the final big Berserk video. Well, and then I'll put them all into one big video, but yeah, that'll be it. Thank you for watching. Bye.